This is Jonathan Agoff here for Pro Boxing fans. Delighted to be joined by Michael Conlan over Zoom ahead of his fight on Saturday night against Sofiane Takoucht. Mick, how's it going?
It's going good, John. Training camp went brilliant. I'm really excited for Saturday night. So it's everything is good. I'm in a good place.
What's been the main sort of challenges of this training camp compared to any others, or has it been quite
There
the same?
hasn't been no challenges. Well, apart from just the training itself, which is normal. That's the only challenge I had. I've had probably the best training camp I've ever had. The best shape I've ever been in my life. I'm mentally in the best form I've ever been in. So um, there hasn't been no hiccups. Everything has just flowed. I've enjoyed every single minute of it. I've been away with my kids, been away with my family, and usually I think about that at times and let it get to me at times, but it hasn't even cropped up. I've just been in a zone since coming out of the lockdown and stuff. Like I've been in a different type of zone. I hit the reset button on my mindset on my career kind of, and it made me think about things and pick things which I want to achieve. So, um, have a real focus again, and I'm ready to rock.
So you mentioned your kids. How many kids do you got?
I have two. I have two kids, 1 year old, or sorry, 2 year old and 5 year old.
So quite young. I mean, it must have been nice being able to spend a load of time with them over the last few months.
It's the most I've been able to spend with them since they've been born. It's the most I've been home since I was 17. Um, so that's what I mean. Like it was just like it was reset. It was back to being a normal person, which I hadn't experienced in a long time. And it just it showed me what I want to do and showed me kind of where I want to be and how I need to get there. So um, it was probably one of the lockdown. Probably one of those people. You can go one way, you can go to the other. Like you could have went like and put loads of weight on and got really maybe depressed or kind of your mindset could have changed, whereas mine just kind of super focused and kind of reignited something in me which I haven't felt in a while.
Um, Saturday night, obviously, you're facing Sofiane Takoucht. Before we get into that,
Yeah.
how frustrating was it at the time when your fight on Paddy's Day got cancelled?
You know what? I wasn't overly frustrated about it. I was pissed off, yes, but I was actually happy in a way that the fact that I didn't have to continue to make weight. It was like, I can just eat what I want now, but obviously I'm not getting paid, so it's a bit of a thing. But it was like the first thing I said to Jamie was, "There's people down in the world with this thing, and I'm healthy. I'm in a great position financially. My family's healthy. I can't complain. There's nothing for me to complain about. It's just a little blip on the way. So I didn't really get frustrated or upset. I was a bit annoyed that kind of day when it started to look like it was going to be cancelled, and then once it was cancelled, I just kind of went, I'm in New York. I'm going to go enjoy myself. Go literally have some pizza, have some cannolis, have some ice cream. Put on about 6-7 kilos or whatever I put on so quick, and enjoy myself. So it was all good.
Um, your last fight was obviously the Nikitin win.
Yeah.
Was that the most satisfying moment of your career, beating him after
Um.
in the Olympics?
You know what? It's hard to say. Like I've had so many massive moments already in my career. The Nikitin fight, once it was first cancelled after the first one, it was meant to happen in Belfast and he got injured. I was kind of done with it then, and then I had to kind of refocus myself to try and get back up for it because I was already saying after I would have beat him anyway, so it's not really a problem. And I knew I would have beat him. But to get the win over him, yeah, it was great to finally get the decision which I deserved. But there was no bad blood, so it wasn't like it was overly satisfying. I think maybe the homecoming in Belfast was probably my most satisfying moment so far.
On Saturday, Takoucht, the British fans will obviously know him from the Josh Warrington fight,
Yeah.
which obviously ended quite quickly. However, he is a former European champion. Sorry, so are people underestimating him? Do you think going into this?
100% they are. 100% they are, and you can't take. I'm not taking anything away from or taking anything from the Josh Warrington fight is, he fought in a solid arena in Leeds in front of, some of the maddest fans in boxing, and I think he was just like, a deer in the headlights and froze. So, his other two losses have been a majority loss and a split decision loss. So he's an awkward dude. Southpaw, obviously, so it always adds a little bit of awkwardness to any opponent. But I'm expecting to go out there and put on a dominant performance. He is a good fighter. He is tough. And again, like I said, I think he just froze in the headlights in front of Josh and got steamrolled. So, I'm going in there to put on a great performance, but I'm expecting, a really good fighter in front of me.
When you watch that sort of fight play out, the one that he fought against Josh Warrington, does that give you any temptation to go on sort of a quick blowout performance like that?
Nah, listen, that would be silly of me if I was to go in and just try and steamroll someone when it's not my boxing style. I'll need to go and have a look first and see what I want to do and see what way I'm going to approach it. And, who knows? I might go and try and steamroll him after, all round. But I'll just see how it plays out. As it would be silly of me just to go in blindly and swing and try and take his head off because Josh Warren done it. I don't compare myself to any other fighters. I just go in there and try and put the performance on myself. So, I'm not putting any pressure on me to try and live up to what he did. No.
Obviously, this fight's at featherweight. You're highly ranked in both 126 and 122. I spoke to your brother earlier, Jamie, and he sort of said that he believes you're more likely to go down the 122 route.
Yeah.
Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, well, listen, there was always the talk before the Nikitin fight. Was talk of me going back down to 122. I started my career at 122. I lived in America, kind of like maybe just lived a bit of enjoyment, eating that kind of American food and the way it was just going on, and like I was saying about like consistently being in training non-stop since I'm 17 and always worrying about when I have to go back in the camp. So I want to make sure I eat this, I eat that, eat this. And that's why my weight always used to fluctuate so high. But with that now, like coming to the lockdown, the start of it, I kind of went crazy and then I got bored of it. So I felt like a normal person. And I feel like it's just normalized my whole body now. And I think my natural weight where I'm sitting around now is just much later. 122 is very doable. And, obviously it's going to be tough. It's always going to be tough making weight no matter what weight it is. But, I definitely believe I can do 122 and do it comfortably and become world champion at it.
Do you look at the rankings at the moment? Obviously, we saw Angelo Leo become the WBO champion. Are you targeting him? I mean, again, speaking to Jamie, he mentioned
he's the champion. He's the champion. He's the guy I would like to face. I would love to face him next. It was a possibility. And who knows? It could be if it was on the Fury Wilder undercard, a local promotion there with Top Rank and PBC would be a great opportunity, and I do believe I would win that fight. But I haven't actually looked down through the rankings. I only knew Fulton and Angelo Leo as the 1 and 2 who were fighting for supposedly the fight for the title, but obviously Fulton got the corona, so they're the only two I've really had an eye on recently, but I haven't looked down through the ranks.
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously Thomas Patrick Ward's, I think, rated 4. Do you expect to land that shot regardless, or do you expect to have to go through an eliminator?
I'm unsure. What way it work. I knew that I would have been a mandatory position if Leo and Fulton had a fought, but that may change now. The fact that Fulton didn't get his chance and he may be the mandatory. So I don't know what way it's going to work, but please God, fingers crossed, it'll be within the next 6 to 12 and less than 12. I don't want it to be more than 9 months. So I want to be world champion within this year or St Patrick's Day next year.
So, I mean, as you say, you can make 122 comfortably, but I imagine you're not ruling out looking for a world title at featherweight.
No way. Listen, I've always said before I turned professional, I want to become Ireland's first ever 3-boot world champion. I know Carl Frampton is bidding to do it, but if he doesn't make it, I could definitely be the guy to do it. And I definitely think I have the ability and I have this kind of the body stature to be able to achieve 122, 126, 130. And they're the weights I would target. So that's always going to be there. So 126 is always going to be in the pipeline for me as well, and something that I'll have my eye on always.
You mentioned Carl Frampton. He's obviously headlining on Saturday night. How much did you sort of used to watch him or take inspiration from him, sort of perhaps before you turned pro or anything?
Yeah, listen, Carl's, in my opinion, he's the best fighter Ireland's had professionally. And the things he's achieved are phenomenal. So, he is the target of level I want to achieve is to get where he got to and go better. But even to get to where he got to is an unbelievable achievement. So if you're getting there, you're doing all right anyway. So yeah, he's a very inspirational fighter for I think every fighter back home. I've been to many of his fights, and the atmosphere would be fantastic. So I'm always honoured to share a car with him. This will be the second time I'll have shared one. Last time being the Josh Warrington one, unfortunately, but even that the atmosphere was fantastic.
Mm. On obviously, we mentioned sort of possible world title shots. Have you had any conversations with Bob Arum about that, or indeed the fight on Saturday?
No. I just let Jimmy speak with the guys, Bob and stuff. I speak with Bob and stuff when I'm around them personally and tell them what I want. But at the minute, I just kind of locked myself away and trained like an absolute demon. And focused on this next fight. It doesn't matter if I'm going to 122 next. This fight's at 126, and I've got to go and do a job on it. So, that's my main focus.
As I understand it, Adam Booth moved gyms. What is the new gym like? How have you adjusted?
It's unbelievable. I love it. Everything in it is fantastic. The people, they're all great people, and then the team and stuff is just it's a great team and a great environment. So it's the gym is it's top class, and every bit of equipment which you need is there. So I couldn't be more thankful and grateful to have that kind of facility.
Well, great stuff, Mick. Appreciate your time. What's the plan for sort of the last few days? Is it just cutting weight, preparing yourself sort of?
Listen, my weight's good already. I don't really do much cutting. I'll probably do one session on Thursday night. And then I'll have to head up to the bubble tomorrow and get into this bubble thing or whatever it is. I don't really understand it, but I know you have to kind of be a recluse for a few days. So I'll just bring up my PlayStation and play some Call of Duty. So that's my plan.
Good shout. Mick, appreciate you coming on, giving us your time. Finally, Sofiane Takoucht, how do you see the fight playing out?
I think I'll break him down and take him out late.
Great. All right, Mick, thank you very much for coming on. Let you get on with your COD, and we'll catch up soon.
Take care, mate.